Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be talking about welders. Right here is my Buzz Box Lincoln stick welder. I actually bought this unit brand new, quite a few years ago now. It's been a great welder, very reliable, done what I needed it to do. But as I get into more welding projects, I find that this welder doesn't quite have the finesse that I would like to have. What I did about a year ago, I bought this new MIG welder. It's an Eastwood. I do want to say right off the bat, just so there's no confusion, this is not a sponsored video. They don't know I'm making the video. They don't know I have a YouTube channel. They don't know any of that stuff. So we're going to unbox this, show you how it works, that kind of thing. Not sponsored in any way by them. I have been starting to use some Eastwood stuff and been happy with it. So when I decided to shop for welders, I did go ahead and look at what they had to offer. I can't tell you a quality difference between them, Lincoln, Miller, whatever. I don't know. What I can tell you is I am not a full-time professional welder. So if by chance this turned out to be a more economy model of welder or something like that, I didn't care. So anyway, just so we got that out of the way. So yeah, this is, there you go, the MP140i multi-process. And you can kind of see the box here a little bit, all the stains on it. This has been in one of my back storage rooms where I keep painting stuff, and as any flat surface is in any shop, it turns into a work table. So that's why all the stains and stuff are on there. So let's go ahead and get this opened up. As you can see, I haven't opened it. I'm hoping there's nothing wrong with it because I don't remember what the warranty is, and if it was a 1-year warranty, I don't have much warranty left on it. Maybe a couple weeks is all. So let's get it unboxed. We'll show you what's in there. We'll get to experience it together. All right, I apologize. I don't have a great angle for you. So we'll get stuff unboxed and then look at it a little bit closer. Here's the first thing that comes out, just our destructions. All right, well, I think there's nothing to it but to do it. We just got to yank the thing up out of here. Styrofoam's off. Ooh, still smells new. That's good. Hey. All right, we'll get that out. And then there is another box here. If I can get it out of here. Oh, okay. That's a regulator. Not regulators mount up either. Some of you will get that reference. All right. Yes, I know my knife is a little unorthodox. It was just the closest thing I had here. All right. Yes, here we go. We have ground clamp. Uh-oh. I'm going to lose my pile here. Electrode holder here for stick welding. Let's see, what did they give me? Some rods, 60-13s. So they gave me 6 of those. Tips, the MIG gun itself, which looks nice. Now they call it a torch. I'm not a professional welder, so if I incorrectly say some of these terminologies, I apologize. You guys can correct me. There is, I wonder if that's a wrench. So I guess we'll call it a MIG torch. That actually looks very nice. Very comfortable. Okay. And a whole bunch of stuff, some consumable things in here. Wait a minute. This looks like for TIG welding. This looks like a TIG torch. Surprisingly, this bag isn't labeled like the other one was, but I'm pretty sure. Can you guys see that? I only TIG welded a couple of times. I took a welding class years ago, and I only TIG welded once or twice in the class. I didn't concentrate on it because I really had no grave interest in TIG welding after. I wanted to be able to repair things, equipment, and do some minor fabrication projects. So TIG welding wasn't of great interest to me, but that's kind of what that looks like, isn't it? Let me know in the comments. I did not realize that that was part of the multi-process welder. That's some other stuff that came with it. This is solid wire ER70S6. It's a 0.023. So they gave me some MIG wire. That's what. All right, so I've been looking through this a little bit and trying to refresh my memory on what the heck I bought. My thought process on this was I wanted to be able to weld lighter duty metals. I cannot weld, to save my life, thin metal with that thing. I've tried turning it down and I cannot get it so it doesn't burn through stuff like exhaust or, you know, thin sheet metal type things. I just burn through it. One thing I will say for Eastwood as a company, as we get into projects, I get emails from them because, you know, you buy something and whatever. But they appear to have a ton of how-to videos on their website. I'm not sure if they have a YouTube channel or not. So I think that may end up being a great resource, especially if you're using one of their specific products. It may end up being a great resource. So I like that about this company. And if I'm not mistaken, I think they're actually from Pennsylvania or in Pennsylvania. They have a store in Pennsylvania. I'm not sure exactly where they originate from, but I'm pretty sure there's a place in Pennsylvania, which is where I live. So that was another thing that kind of drew me to them, was if there was a problem, you know, a couple hour drive or whatever, I could take the welder down to them instead of trying to ship it somewhere. And that brings me to the last point I want to make. I know I'm rambling, I'm sorry. I'm trying to give you guys as much information as I can about this. But there is a warranty chart here, and 3-year warranty on material workmanship and defects for Eastwood MP 140i. So this actually has a 3-year warranty on it, and while I have burned up almost a year of that, my fault, I still have 2 more years, so that's fantastic. For some reason I was thinking a year. Anyway, so that's kind of a brief overview. So I did plug it in. Well, it fired up and looks like a Christmas tree, so that's good news. So here's your process button. Right now it's on MIG. If we go stick and TIG is in the center. Wire feed and amperage. That's a rough overview. And then again, as I was digging around, here's our nice chart here that tells us our wire and all of that. I got to run out and grab some stuff, and I'll come back and we'll start kind of putting this together. I think we are going to run 0.030. That will do 20 gauge up to 11 gauge. I think I'm going to try having that as the regular wire that's in there. I do have a 0.023 that they sent, so that'll go down to 22 gauge. But so I think we're going to try putting the 030 in there for now. All right, so I am back. We've got our shielding gas there, and I bought a few other things. I got these nice MIG welding pliers. I did not have any of those because, as I said earlier, I've only had a stick welder here in the shop. I did buy, I think these are 10 or 11 pounders, 11 pounders of the 030 and 035. Like I said, they sent an 023 with the unit, so I've got that. And I had to get the tips to go with the 030 and 035s as well. So what I'm going to work on quick, I'll do it off camera just to keep this video a little bit shorter, but I'm going to take the plasma cutter off. I'm going to try to put it on the bottom shelf, and I'm actually going to put this MIG welder on top, because this actually is a MIG welding cart. There is a place for a gas cylinder there in the back and all that. So let me get this all set up here, and then I'll come back with you. We'll put some wire in it and maybe do just fire it up and do a little bit of welding. Well, I've been hard at work getting things hooked up here. So we got our ground clamp hooked up. There was a wire here that we had to jump from one to the other because we're MIG welding. We got the MIG gun hooked up. There's a power wire there to plug in. So I've got all that hooked up, and we are ready to put some wire on this thing. So we're gonna put the 030 in there, and the size spool that I got has to go up here. I don't know if you guys can see that little hole. There's a plastic piece that needs to hook in to there. This came set up from the factory, reverse threads here on this. This came set up from the factory for the 023. So there is a little kind of drive gear there, drive roller down in here that I had to flip it over. The one side has the groove in it for the 023, and then you take it off, turn it around. It's labeled very nicely. Pop it back on, and then it's for the larger size wires. We gotta take our tip out there, which we had to take out anyway because that was for the smaller wire. Pressure adjustment out of the way. Now that we got a hold of it, we can't let go. We're gonna snip this end off here so that it's nice and clean. And we've got to feed it through. Without letting go, so the thing does not unravel. Okay, there, it just came. You guys can't see that, but it just popped through here onto the roller. I'd move the camera, but I don't want to let go of the thing. So now that you got it into there, it says to go ahead and put tension on it. Okay, I'll turn that on. It says, with the gun pointed away from you and others, like the wire's gonna come shooting out of there so fast it's gonna poke somebody's eye out. Depress the trigger to begin feeding the wire. Let's see, is it gonna work? It is working. You see it's pointed away from me. There it goes. Got it. So now what we got to do is put our tip on. So we're using these, the 030s. Let's feed that on there. And we got to tighten that. Then this thing just pops back on there like that. And what I do with my pliers here. And then we just need to cut the end of that off. There, we got our wire fed through. Perfect. All right, the last thing I did here before we close things up, clean up, and get ready to try welding something was I had some soapy cleaner stuff here, and I sprayed stuff on all of our connections here to make sure nothing leaked. Everything was good. I wiped all that back up. So our shielding gas is good. I think everything's ready to go here. So let me get this cleaned up, get it tucked back in the hole where it's gonna go, find a couple scraps of metal, and let's give this thing a go here. I think everything's set up here per that chart that's underneath there. I don't really know exactly the thickness of this. I stayed on the lighter side. This is an old rusty battery cover from the Farmall 544. I cleaned it up a bit. You can see there's still rust in there, so I'm not trying to make a perfect weld. All I'm trying to do is, number one, see if everything works like it's supposed to. Get a gauge. It's going to be new for me. I'm not used to welding thin stuff. So the settings that I have, am I going to burn through it? Is it going to just lay a little bead of weld on top and be all right? I don't know. This is kind of an experiment. So we're going to do it together. So anyway, I have things set sort of based on kind of the smallest. We're going to turn this on the settings for the thinnest metal for the 030 wire. We're gonna turn our gas on, and then let's try to make a pass here. All right, folks, well, I don't know if you guys can see that. We started okay, and then we burned right through. Let's try turning it down. We were kind of on some of the lowest settings for this size wire, so I'm hoping I don't have to change wires. Ooh, that was hot though. Didn't burn through that time. Well, can you guys see that? Almost did. I turned everything down again. Let's go again. See what happens. Still burning. We didn't burn a hole in it, but it's still too hot for this type of metal. I wonder if this is something that is thin enough that it should be spot welded. That was definitely better spotting it like that rather than trying to run a full bead. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me grab you off. I have you stuck to the metal wall of the shop. So we'll get you in here a little bit closer. So I gotta try not to touch these because they're hot. That was the first we started. We burned right through. I turned things back. That was next right there, which is actually, you know, it looks like a nice bead. The problem is that on both of these, they protruded way out. And then, let's see, which ones did we do? The top ones, that was the spots that we did. And then I cut the shielding gas back and tried to do slightly bigger spots down at the bottom. So you can see that, you can't really see there. But the spots that I did, you know, the start stops, did not burn through. So that's pretty good. Like I said, this was an experiment. All right, so there we have it. There's our piece that I think we warped it a little bit there, but that's all right. So I have never welded sheet metal stuff before. I'm used to equipment, you know, big, thick, heavy pieces. As I'm learning this, if anybody has any good tips, suggestions, please leave them in the comment section down below. Like I said, I got some projects coming up. We're gonna have to do some sheet metal type welding work, kind of automotive based this winter. So any tips you can provide. I'm gonna do a little research on my own, obviously, but sometimes there are little things that, little tricks that people know that don't come up in basic research. So that's gonna conclude this video, guys. It was not really a how-to. It was just kind of me unboxing and setting up this new welder. Didn't know anything about it. Didn't remember anything about it because it's been almost a year. So just kind of taking you through the process here a little bit. Again, not educational, probably somewhat entertaining, I would think, but also trying to make it slightly informative and see if people could offer me some advice on, again, little tips and tricks. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're interested in seeing me try to weld more sheet metal, or you know, seeing a little bit more about this Eastwood welder, again, not sponsored, hit the subscribe button, stick around for a while. We got a lot of cool projects coming up this winter. We're gonna be using that. So I hope you guys will stick around for those videos. I appreciate it very much. If you wouldn't mind hitting the like button on the way out the door, I would greatly appreciate that. And I sure hope to see y'all on the next video.